Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Curling Stadium Martensville live coverage from the Curling Stadium Martensville International. We've got the playoffs here. It's Sunday. 11 teams started play Friday afternoon. We're down to the 5 playoff teams. The 2 teams in the quarterfinal this morning, Jolene Campbell, Nancy Martin, both qualified through the C event last night. So back on the ice early this morning and having to draw to the button because they both came through the same event to determine who would have last rock here in the opening end of play. It was the Campbell team winning that draw to the button. They've got last rock. Nancy Martin with the Redstones. And the attempt at the corner guard there must have been a burnt stone, I guess. Hard to see where it happened, but Nancy Martin sits the back of the 12-foot. You see it just behind the broom. She's looking for something on the center now. Center guard, perhaps. This opening end had started out in the house. It only takes one miss, and now things get a little bit more offensive now. Bringing it right into the corner. The 4-foot does bite the button. Campbell team playing short-handed. Abby Ackland, the normal third for the team, not here, but Dana Demons is the lead. Rachel Erickson the second. Jolene Campbell in the house, skipping. Looking for the hit and roll here. She's a little thin. She could get the double. Makes the hit and does roll right to the corner. And boy, that looks like it welded right on there. Stopped when it touched. That's a great shot. Get out of a little bit of trouble here. The Martin team on the second stones now. This is Kadriana Lott. Deanna Doig is the lead for the team, but she will hold the broom for Nancy when she throws. And normal third, Shailene Kitt's not here, so Skylar Ackerman throwing the third stones for them this weekend. Looking to kill everything here. To make the hit. Just spills the back stone. The yellow squirts into the back of the 8-foot. The shooter stays in the edge of the 12. So it's Campbell still sitting 1. And looking to play the corner freeze on that Redstone, see if she can generate some offense here. This is the kind of thing you almost have to expect with these two teams, just based on the way they've been playing. Jolene Campbell coming through the C event last night, as we mentioned, an 8-7 winner in her qualifying game for Nancy Martin. She also came through the C event, but that qualifying game was 4-1. She plays a little bit more defensively, and it shows in their stats. Jolene Campbell averaging 8.7 points per game through their 6 games in qualifying. Nancy Martin, 6.97, so not quite a 2-point per game difference. Having to sweep from the offside there. They didn't quite get the line, just a little strong, and it slides through the back. That's a missed opportunity. So now another chance for the Martin team with a nose hit to sit 2 and see if they can get the force here in the opening end of play. Just one quarterfinal on with 5 teams qualifying. So the winner of this game will move on to the semifinal, scheduled in just under 3 hours' time against Kayla Skrillik, who is the A event qualifier. Gets the hit, rolls to the other side of the center line. So a lot of separation between those two. The angle's good for the hit and roller, perhaps the double. But a lot of space between the two of them. Not much room for error. Rachel Erickson with the hit attempt from the in turn. Dana Demons on the brush right away. This is going to cross it. She will remove the stone from play, but her shooter rolls out as well. Continues to be Nancy Martin sitting one. Skylar Ackerman with the out-turn draw. Both brushers on it early. By coming to the middle like this, they are going to group their stones a little bit. There's going to be a chance for a double. It's a slash double. Jolene opting to hit and try to roll in front of that red, see if they can't get a better chance for a double on the next one. Waiting for this to curl now. Going to try to help it across a little bit. Not a lot of weight. Still didn't get the curl they were looking for. It is shot rock. Nancy Martin can't really roll away. She could hit right on the nose. She leaves the double just as difficult as it would have been on the last attempt. She could roll over to the corner on the broom side, make it an awkward angle. The concern would be you roll maybe a foot to the broom side and you make it a nose hit double. Brushes were down right away. They got to be careful. If this crosses the face, it could jam. She may not hit it at all. Wow, slides right by everything. Both teams have handed opportunities to the other in this opening end of play. This one's late in the end. If Jolene Campbell can make the hit, stay somewhere in the rings, perhaps roll just a little bit across the face, she may have an opportunity to counter deuce here in the opening end. Nancy Martin, long been a very good hitter, though. You have to think if she leaves her any kind of shot at a double, she's going to play it. Nothing out of the brush early, and now switching sides. This needs to come off the line. Going to make the hit, but will she hold the shooter? Just hangs on for a bite at the back of the 12-foot. Double's there. Probably needs about 2/3 broom side. Over curled on her last attempt. She's got a little bit more weight on this one. Still, both brushers down early. Needs to stay broomside for the double. This is going to curl. She'll make the hit. Actually rolls towards that yellow. She's partially in front of it, so it does make this shot a little trickier for Jolene. She does have her chance for two, but has to get it past that yellow stone at the back and still hold her shooter. Lots of room to do that. Jolene Campbell in the hacks. This is her final stone, opening end of play. Quarterfinal action. Facing one with a biter at the back, a chance to hit for two. On the brush on this one all the way down too, it's curling. They actually had to go plan B, curled just across the face, enough to drive it by the yellow at the back. She holds her shooter. 2 points in this opening end of play for Jolene Campbell. She's got the 2-0 lead. Nancy Martin will have last rock in the second. Jolene Campbell with a 2-0 lead as we begin play here in the second hit, calling for the first stone into the rings, top four. Dana Demmons looking to deliver. Rachel Erickson on the brush. I'll bring it into the full 8 foot, right on the center line. Nancy Martin calling for the corner guard. This is a new team this year for Nancy Martin. She lost the provincial final last year to Skylar Ackerman. Skylar has since stepped back from the game, but has been doing some subbing this year. For Nancy, the focus this year has been a little bit more on the mixed doubles. She is quite accomplished at, but ended up throwing together a team with Shaylin Kitts, Kadriana Lott, two other doubles players who perhaps don't have the same focus anymore on four-player team, but certainly a team with a chance to get to provincials here in Saskatchewan and make some noise when they do. And Deanna Doig played third for Nancy 2 years ago when they won the provincial seniors title. So she rounds out the squad. For Jolene Campbell, the three members of this team actually played out of Manitoba last year. They picked up Dana Demmons this year to play lead, and that meant three of them had eligibility in Saskatchewan. Abby Ackland normally plays third on the team, is the import. Wouldn't be surprised to see both of these teams playing at the Scotties in January, provincial Scotties. Guard is on the center line, but stone in the ring still partly exposed. Deanna Doig going to look to come down, sit on the corner of it. You do have to be a little careful going by the guard. It's on the center line, so in the no-tick zone. She's got room by the guard. Come down to the face, actually taps that Yellowstone back a little bit, but stays directly in front of it. Jolene Campbell asking for another center guard. Gonna try to put a little pressure on here in this second end, forced Nancy Martin's team to do a little work to clean things up in the middle. Gets the second guard up. There is some angle there to try a double peel. I do have to be a little careful. I mean, if you're Nancy Martin here, there's a way you could bring this back into the rings and it could work out very well for you. There's also a way, though, you could bring it back into the rings and it could be, well, I don't want to call it a disaster, but not a great result. There is a way to pick the red out and leave them sitting too. Love to get both of these guards off the center line, though. Going to be a little thick on the first one. Comes back. I'm sure it made contact with the red, but until we see the house there, it did touch all three of them. So leaves Nancy Martin sitting shot rock. Got rid of all the rocks off the center line, though. The two yellows now in the ring's edge of the 12-foot and back 12. This is a much better looking house for Nancy Martin. Rachel Erickson being asked to make a play on the shot stone now. Wanted to roll towards the 4-foot. This is going to be a little thin and roll all the way through the house out of play. And that gives Nancy Martin a chance to use some of those corner guards. This is Kadriana Lott, the second. The out-turn draw. New stones in Martensville here this year. I have to admit I haven't seen a lot of the play this weekend, but from what we've seen early in this game, big movement to the corners. As soon as that rock comes off the line, it goes hard and looks like it is dead in behind those staggered guards. So Jolene Campbell going to look for the double peel here. Nothing out of the brushers yet. Looked like she might have been drifting a little on the release. Jams the first one. Shot stone is open now. Nancy thinking about bringing a second one in, though. Could play the straight guard as well. We are onto third stones. She could also split the rings. Looks like the call is to come into the 12-foot. You don't have to get second shot rock here. This could be third, possibly even fourth you could get away with. You do need to cross the stone in the house just a little bit, though. If you stay on the broom side, you leave a nose hit double. You get just to the other side of that shot stone. Any attempt at a double is jamming somewhere and could double jam. They had to come off the brush. They were going to lose the line altogether. Really good line. They would have loved to have had it 2 feet deeper. Still forces a much more difficult shot for Jolene Campbell. She's trying to corner freeze around a tight corner guard on a stone that's a foot in front of the tee line. This is not easy. Final stone here, the second end for Rachel Erickson. Boy, they had to wait for it to get off that line. Now really curling hard. She's got to get by the tight guard that was just thrown. Not going to. Does spin into shot rock position in the 8-foot, but leaves a chance for Skylar Ackerman, the substitute playing third here for Nancy Martin this weekend, to play the hit, roll behind the corner herself. And she would be sitting 2. And if you were ever just a little thin on the first yellow, you probably end up rolling into the one on the side of the 12-foot. You'd still sit 2. She's got some leeway here. Going to make the hit. It was a little thin. I'm not sure why they were on the brush there. Comes across, kills her own stone. Shooter hangs on for, I believe, second shot, and it is corner frozen on the yellow, but a chance now for Jolene Campbell try to sit 2 and maybe take away the opportunity for a deuce. Has to be careful not to leave a double. Also doesn't want to leave a chance for Nancy to roll in behind the guard. I'm looking at the draw to the other side. Jolene looking at it now too. There aren't a lot of good places you can put a rock around that corner guard when you don't have last rock. He's going to try it though. Tough shot. She's not playing with a lot of ice here. If you get to the tee line, Nancy Martin's going to come down corner freeze to you. So you got to keep it in front of the tee line. We already saw them touch the corner guard once. You do that, you could leave a double to sit 2 buried. Skip stones here, second end. Jolene Campbell with her first. Nothing out of the brush early. Starting to cross the center now. Plenty of room by the guard. Should start moving. Comes into the house. She's got shot rock, full 8. Didn't really get very far in behind the guard, though, just an inch or 2. Enough, I guess, that Nancy Martin can't try the roll under. Her first thought was to try to hit and roll in front of that stone at the back of the 12-foot, and I guess they'd be hoping that Jolene might do them a favor. They'll get a chance for their deuce yet. Probably the ideal here is just roll about 2 inches broomside. Leave it on that same angle. Jolene won't be able to roll behind the guard because she'd jam it on the back one. Nancy Martin had a couple of hits in the first end over curl on her. They've got the brush on the inside right away on this one as well. She's got to get by the guard. Tight guard. Not even close to by it. Does roll in for second shot in the 8-foot. But it gives Jolene Campbell a chance to hit sit 3. Possibly get her force here in this second end. I saw Jolene indicate she could roll right over to the corner of her own stone across the house. I don't think that's plan A. That's more of a, we've got all kinds of room to curl here. We just don't want to be on the broom side. She rolls to split center. I'm not sure that Nancy Martin could hit either one of the 2 stones in the 8-foot and be shot rock. She'd have to play either a hit and roll or a straight draw. Looking for a little bit more curl at the end. She's going to hit, come across. She does sit 3. I think a nose hit on that stone is probably shot rock. It's close. Any kind of roll towards the center line would be shot rock for sure. Jolene Campbell played it like she was looking for that roll the whole way. If that rolls 2 inches more, there might be a shot for a triple. As it is, Nancy Martin looking for the hit. She'll try to roll just a bit to the center line side. Certainly no room to roll broom side. Final stone. Nancy Martin facing 3. A little trouble on the push out of the hacks, and the brusher's on right away. She's over curled on 3 hits already. And they maybe overreacted to the little wobble on the delivery. She hits it on the outside, rolls too far. It's a steal of 1. Jolene Campbell with a 3-0 lead here in this quarterfinal. Nancy Martin with last rock again in the 3rd. Third end underway here. Jolene Campbell after the steal of 1 in the 2nd with a 3-0 lead. Nancy Martin with last rock once again. First stone brought into the rings, just full 12, as you can see there, and that corner guard attempt by Deanna Doig. Nicely placed. Would have liked to have that first stone in a little deeper anyway, at least full 8-foot, maybe even into the 4. So I think, like, their first indication was to maybe come around that Yellowstone. Now I think they're playing to just tap it back. I think if it was in the top of the 4-foot here in the 2nd end, she'd probably still come in, or pardon me, in the 3rd end with a 3-point lead, would probably still come into the rings. That first stone just being in the 12-foot, not really in a good steal position. Taps it up into the 4. 2 stones not lined up, though. Nancy Martin going to ignore the 2 yellow stones and ask Deanna to throw a second corner guard, same side as the first, tight to the rings. Going to be a little strong, so they're going to try to bring it right in and bury it. Boy, if it's not dead buried, it's close. They can't see very much of it. This is still just the 5th stone of the end, so they have to be a little careful if they're going to make a play on it. You hit the guard, it's still in the free guard zone. Not a lot of weight here. I think they were looking to move this. She's just going to get bite the 12-foot, perhaps. That acts more like a guard than anything that helps Jolene Campbell at this point. So Nancy Martin asking for the play on the shot stone and try to roll to the other side of the house. Sitter 2 spread out. Try to use that yellow stone half in the 12-foot as a guard. I think as we lost the camera angle there, we saw a bit of a plan B change. They realized they weren't going to roll broom side. They switched to the offside sweep to try to get in behind their guard on the other side. Looks like they got a piece underneath. Rachel Erickson just being asked to peel the long red guard for now. That'll leave them a short run on their own stone for the next one. We'll see what Nancy Martin chooses to do about that. She's going to get the peel, come across. Oh, they wouldn't mind moving that stone up. Just goes over the top of it. And Nancy Martin doesn't really want to leave them the short run, so they're looking to play the corner guard. They discussed coming around the yellow as well, but you have to think the corner guard's the way to go at this point in the end. You come deep around the other yellow, there'd probably be a double available on the reds. The open one onto the one you would be throwing into the back corner. Makes the guard, maybe didn't get quite the line they were looking for. It does leave angle for Rachel to try to drive the red across the face of the yellow into one of the 2 reds in the rings and still get her shooter out of the way. On the brush right away, has to stay on the broom side a little bit. She's very close. Oh, what an outstanding shot. Not only did she make contact with the reds, kills both of them, and hangs her shooter on edge of the 12-foot on the other side to sit 2. Does leave her shooter in front for a bit of a corner guard. That's the stone Nancy Martin's going to ask. 5 rocks to 3 doesn't seem right. This should be Skylar Ackerman throwing her first. Still a chance here for the Martin team if they could get a good come around here to perhaps generate a deuce or even 3 here in this third end of play. Oh, and we've had another burnt stone. Had to bring an extra brusher out to try to help it, and maybe in the exchange there, brooms clicked and touched the stone. Decision time now for Jolene Campbell. Not really a steal situation. You come around the corner guard, you know Nancy Martin will just follow it, so they're going to peel it. They've already got 2 in the rings that they need to get the chance for the force. There's a chance for the bonus here. They're aware of it. They talked about if you peel this just right, it could come off the red stone that's just outside the rings, maybe spill a third one into the rings that way. Has to be a little careful not to have the shooter kill one of her own. Got everything out of that one. Got the peel. Jammed on the red. Comes in to bite the 12-foot. Sitting 3. No guards in play. Nancy Martin looking at the situation saying there's not much chance we're going to blank this end. We got to try to get 2 if we're going to be forced. So that Yellowstone, the top of the 12-foot, half in the rings. It's the best thing they've got to use for a guard. They're going to try to come around it. Skylar Ackerman with her second stone here. Both brushers down on this one early. Still got a lot of room. Weight was good. Comes in, grabs the corner of the button, but just didn't get the line they were looking for. Still well out in the open. Decision time for Jolene Campbell. Her first thought was to try to roll under her own stone. The danger there is Nancy Martin tries to come down corner freeze on, still get her deuce that way. You could roll to the open side of the 4-foot. And they did talk about that, but this was her first thought, was to try to roll behind her own stone. And that's what they're gonna go with. Already sitting second, third, and fourth. If she makes the hit at all, she's in a good situation to get the force here. But if she could make this little flop in behind her own and get a good solid piece of the 4-foot, steal's not out of the question here again in the third. Little switch at the end, trying to roll underneath. Gets the hit. Pretty much stays right there, though. Leaves enough room for Nancy to try to get that flop underneath. The question is, how far underneath do you want to be here? It'll be a short run back for Jolene Campbell. I'm not seeing the sense in rolling to the open side. I think ideally you want to roll just a little bit past that yellow stone, so you're about half open on the outside. Then if she plays the run back and sticks it, it's going to be open. That what they just discussed is the little draw tap. They have to move it almost all the way out of the forefoot to be shot rock, so that would leave a lot of separation. They're back to the hit. Nancy did throw her 2 hits in the first end in this same path, and both over curled on her, so she's going to have to be a little careful with the release here. Makes the hit, does roll in behind the yellow. It's not squarely in behind, but it's in enough that there is the chance for Jolene to run this close to straight back and stick her own stone behind cover in the 8-foot. So final stone of the third end here for Jolene Campbell without last rock. She's got a 3-point lead, a chance for the short run back to sit 3, get the force. On the brush early. If anything, she needs to be just a hair on the broom side. It'll touch the red stone, but not enough to get it out of the rings. Stays for a bite of the button. Nancy Martin will have her chance to get 2 points back here in the third end. Needs full 12-foot. They did have a chance to peek a little bit at the practice before the game, so no, this was the path that the Martin team had in the pregame. Nancy hasn't thrown a draw since then. Line looks really good. Brusher's just cleaning this in. Nancy Martin with her final stone comes into the top of the 4-foot, does pick up her 2 points, closes the score to 3-2. It'll be Jolene Campbell with last rock in the 4th. Shawn, Joyce with you here live from the Curling Stadium, Martensville International. Quarterfinal action here on this Sunday morning. Jolene Campbell with a 3-2 lead and last rock as we begin play here in the 4th. Winner of this game moves on to play Cailey in the semifinal. See, the center guard was thrown up to start the end and looks to just be touching the center line, so it is in the no-tick zone. Dana Demmons with the come around. Full top 4. Probably about half to 2/3 behind cover. Deanna Doig will look to come down, sit on top of that. First time in this game we've actually seen both teams jockeying for position around a center guard. Dana Doik actually gets slightly to the inside corner, so a little bit more behind cover. Now Dana Demons being asked to come down and sit on the corner of that stone. These ends where you get both teams coming around the center, it's always so interesting to watch how well they can set up the angles. Dana with an outstanding shot here. Sets up the angle, yellow and the red. It actually might clear the stone on the button if they get a chance to play a hit on it. So Nancy Martin will ask, in this case, Cadriana Lott, to come down and sit on the face of the yellow and probably try to break up the yellow-red line. So she'll need to tap this a couple of inches. Brushers down. This has to get to the nose, though. She stays on the outside. When she taps it, it'll still leave the same angle. Jolene's got angles in the house now, and this is her chance to get rid of that center guard. Dana Demons with the peel, rolls a shooter out of play as well. The angles in the house not great for Nancy Martin. The red-yellow combination kind of looks like it clips the red. You might be able to hit a broomside drag and just dead jam on the yellow in the button area, but you're not going to kill both yellows. So she's looking to play a guard for now, I believe. Jolene peeled the guard on the last attempt. You have to think they're going to peel it again. And that'll be part of the discussion now for the Martin team, is how many more guards do we throw before they make a play in the house? A little bit of cat and mouse going here in this. Oh, they didn't get the peel all the way out of the rings. That leaves the corner guard. That could change things a little bit. The danger here for Nancy Martin, she's looking at the red-yellow onto the 2 in the forefoot, maybe trying to kill both of the stones in the forefoot. The danger is that yellow that's full 8 foot right now, when it comes in and clips both stones in the forefoot, it's going to spin towards the corner guard. Now, these are brand new stones, lively striking bands. You might be able to get everything. Don't have to play it yet either. That was the discussion. Do we throw one more guard? They do have to be a little careful positioning the guard, because there is a chance that Jolene Campbell could just come down, hit the red stone in the forefoot on the nose, and sit 2. Gets the guard to pretty much perfectly split center. Thought Jolene was looking at maybe running this straight back from this turn. I have to think this is a straight peel again, though. Now you're at third's final stone for Nancy Martin, and part of the thought here has to be if we throw one more guard, they're going to make a play in the house. So the call is to hit the red stone in the 4-foot, kill the yellow that's cornered behind it. The tricky part here is going to be trying to keep both your shooter and the red raised stone in shot and second shot position. You're not going to have anything under cover after this. Make the hit. The shooter rolls over to the edge of the 8. Raised stone stays for shot rock, just behind the tee line, half 4-foot. So it is a chance now for Rachel Erickson to just hit, stay right there, sit 2. Wants to stay right there. She rolls to the inside a little bit. It could leave a raised double. Does stay there. Nancy Martin just discussing where they want to roll with this. Talk about rolling past that staggered red-yellow. It does look like there's enough of a port to come through there and make a hit. I personally, I don't mind if you just roll behind the red-yellow. Yes, it'll be a short run, but if Jolene has to play that run, she's only going to be sitting 1. Nancy Martin with her first. Looking for the hit and roll. Inside brusher was down early. She'll make the hit. Rolls to the corner of the button. That's a great spot. Still underneath those staggered pair at the top, and hard to know for sure if it'll drag enough. It kind of looks like it goes by. Now there will be some drag, but there's not a lot of room there to drag. There's only 2 feet, 2.5 feet between the yellow stone and the red on the tee line. She can probably make contact with it. I don't know whether or not she can kill the stone on the button and yet keep the raised stone in the rings. That's what they're going to play. A broom side hit on the red and right beside the broom. You get a little bit of drag on that yellow. It should go back, and it probably catches the stone on the button. I'm just not sure if you can drag enough to keep the yellow in for shot rock. I think it may roll out of play. I also talked about rolling the shooter in to just maybe bite the 8-foot. The other possibility is if you're a little thin on the red one, you might make the thin double onto the stone at the edge of the 8-foot, and then if you catch the stone in the button area, be in good shape. It's a tough shot to call to play it that way, though. It's so thin on the first one. Kind of going to get caught in between. Did jam solidly on the stone and the button. Everything else rolls out of play. Boy, that was close to making the triple. And that might have been what she was playing. Needed to hit it just a little thinner. As it is, Nancy Martin a chance to hit. She could stay right there, get the force. Probably would like to roll a little bit broom side. If you got half behind that corner guard, half in the 4-foot, that'd make the shot for one as tricky as you could. Nancy Martin trailing by one as we play here in the 4th, looking for at least the chance for the force. Makes the hit, does stay right there. Nancy sitting 2. Jolene will look for the nose hit here, pick up her single. As long as she's fairly thick on the first one, she's got that red catcher on the side too. Pretty hard to roll over the top of it. The only way to miss it, I think, would be thin, in which case you'd roll under it. It'd be a steal of one. Haven't seen anything run that straight here. Jolene Campbell with the intern hit attempt on her final stone here in the 4th end. Looking to get back to a 2-point lead, and they already have switched the sweep to the offside. She needs this to curl. She's a little thin on the first one. She could roll under the second. Gets it just thick enough to roll into the side of it. So that second red stone acts as the catcher. Jolene Campbell picks up her single point here in the 4th end of play. She restores the 2-point lead. Nancy Martin will have last rock back for the 5th. Four to 2, Jolene Campbell with the lead as we begin play here in the 5th end. Nancy Martin with last rock after getting the force in the 4th, a chance to perhaps try to draw back even here as we begin play in the 5th. First stone of the end brought into the top of the 4-foot. The corner guard attempt now by Deanna Doig. Looks like they're looking for a tight corner here. No, it's about halfway. Maybe just sweeping because they were worried about look at that curl at the end. Boy, they sure do move off the center line here in Martensville. Two ends ago, we saw Dana Devons only got her first stone into the 12-foot. They had to play a bit of a tap with her second. This stone being top 4 in a position where they can put a little pressure on, so they're going to try to guard it here with this second stone. Looking to get all the curl they can here. There's a couple of things at play here. You want to guard the stone in the rings, and not able to get back to the center line, so it's not in the no-tick zone. Nancy Martin still opting to ignore it, asking Deanna Doig to play towards the corner guard again. I have to think this is the come-around attempt. Tough to play a second corner guard with where the first one was positioned. Boy, he's got a really nice line coming by. And get it deep enough, this should dead bury. There's a good look at it from the hacks. I don't think she can see either edge of that stone behind the guard. In fact, if you're already down in the hacks, you can probably only see one red stone there. So Jolene's going to ask for another stone on the center line. And she knows Nancy Martin's going to have to do a little work to clean up the middle. She'll see if she can't do something with the corner while that's going on. It's that game of cat and mouse that we talk so much about. Devon's looking for a longer guard on this one. Got close to that center line early. They do get it over. Splits the center now. The question is it really covering either of the other two yellows? And not really. Interesting. Nancy's first thought was to play the tight center guard, maybe be able to get both yellows and roll to a corner. Opting to come around, I thought she'd play the hit on the guard. This is an aggressive call. And this is really curling hard. Not going to get by the center guard. Now this was the sixth stone of the end, so that no longer in the no-tick zone. That disappears after 5. It does give Jolene Campbell, though, a chance to throw another center guard. You could put this back in the exact same spot the last one was in. And she essentially has 3 guards on top of that shot stone, and the tight one, there'd be a lot of separation for any attempt at a double peel. Got a nice line, but this has got a lot of weight. They're actually trying to come in now. Just doesn't have the weight for that. It ends up sitting right beside the other tight center guard, so there is a double peel available. Try to hit the higher one first, fairly thin, come across the top of the second one. Double peel the 2 yellows and hopefully have the shooter spin off to the corner somewhere. Gets them both moving and does spin the shooter off to the corner. She's got a triple guard now on that stone in the 12-foot. Still has to deal with the shot stone in the 4-foot, but it is mostly open right now. Jolene Campbell will ask for the guard. If this guard's fairly long, you can get away with just splitting center. If it's tighter to the house, you probably want to deadline it up to the shot stone, because if you're splitting center tight to the house, she'll take a run at the double. That's what she's looking at, is the double. The stone that was just delivered across the face of the one in the top of the 4-foot, double out the 2 yellows. The shooter will roll off the center line. Might roll into your guards on the side, but that's the beauty of having 3. It doesn't really matter if you lose one of them, you're still going to be buried in the 12-foot. Skylar Ackerman looking for the double. This curled early. She actually curls across the face, just peels the guard. Same spot, really. We saw Nancy Martin have a couple of lower curls in the first end. Rachel Erickson being asked to put the guard back. This one looks like it's got more line early. Curling now, though. This one's going to be a little bit higher, splitting center. Makes that double a little tougher, more room between them. Can't really play the double peel on the guards because the tighter guard's coming into those 3 corners and then probably back towards the middle. So they're going to play the same shot. A little more room between them, so it's a little tougher, but it's still there. Play the yellow guard almost straight back, just over the top of the one in the 4-foot. Try to get both yellows and roll the shooter to the corner. Slight overcurl on the first one. This one's close. Undercurls just ever so slightly. Drives it by everything. So skip stones left to come here in the 5th. Jolene Campbell going to look to replace that guard one more time. And this stone looks like it's got lots of room. A little more weight, though. Can't even go to try to line them up because it ends up biting the 12-foot as it is. Nancy Martin still looking at the over-the-top double. Hard to make the over-the-top double without losing your shooter now. They're so close together. You could actually hit, could actually come just slightly across the nose, make the double. Even a nose hit would probably do it. But ever so slightly across, I don't know whether you could roll into the rings or not. Certainly if you just made the nose hit double, your shooter would be splittable for 3. Don't know whether Jolene Campbell would be willing to risk ignoring that stone. Nancy Martin with her first here, looking for the double. Boy, really curling. Makes the double. Does leave her shooter just out in front of the rings. Decision time now for Jolene Campbell. She's not going to think too hard about it. She's going to come around that red stone. It might look inviting to come around from the outturn side just because it's a longer yellow guard and a stagger. The danger, though, is you come around from that side and you don't get dead underneath the red. You might leave an angle for Nancy Martin to play run back red onto the yellow and roll her shooter in for 3. If you're coming from this side and you leave it half open, she's never getting more than 2. A lot of room coming by. Now you can afford to be deep here. Comes to rest, half of the back of the 8-foot. And it is fully buried, maybe even slightly over buried. So for Nancy Martin to make the play for 2, she's got to come down with enough weight to move that stone. She's got to play enough weight to move the stone, so she's got to tighten up the broom. And it certainly has looked so far here in Martensville this morning that the closer you get to that center line, it almost seems like the more they curl, you see her adjust the broom a little bit as she got to the hacks. You've got to get by your own stone at the top of the 12, or just outside the top of the 12. Should move plenty late. This is starting to move early. They've got their own stone just out front of the rings. They've got to get by, not going to get by, so they're playing the plan B now, trying to tap it. This is just for 1. I don't know if she's got the weight. Just underthrown. Taps it into full 12. It's another steal of 1 for Jolene Campbell, and she's back to a 3-point lead after 5 ends of play. Nancy Martin will have last rock in the 6th, and we'll have that for you right after this. Three-point lead for Jolene Campbell once again as we begin play here in the 6th end. Shawn, Joyce with you live from the Curling Stadium, Martensville International. This is the lone quarterfinal. 5 teams making the playoffs here in Martensville. The winner moves on to play against Cailey scheduled in about an hour and a half's time in the semifinal. The other semifinal has Corinne Brown against Amber Holland. We will have all the action for you here live on Curling Stadium, Martensville. All the playoff games this afternoon. Semifinal scheduled for 12:30 local time. 11 o'clock, coming up on 11 o'clock now, and the final scheduled for 3:30 this afternoon. So a lot of action yet to come here for Martensville. First stone into the 8-foot, the corner guard. Now a second stone being brought into the middle. With a 3-point lead, I would expect they're probably coming right into the rings again. Might be a center guard, though. Didn't see the call, I have to admit. Looks like they're coming right in. You'd like to leave them lined up. You want to have some room between them. Might have wanted to sweep that for a little bit of a bump. Problem with leaving them that close together is Nancy Martin could play a nose hit. And she essentially leaves her stone frozen. Doesn't have to play it with takeout weight, but looks like that's what they're going to do. So looking to hit this fairly close to the nose, kill the back stone, and leave the red an inch or two in front of the yellow stone at the top of the 12-foot. Has to stay right in line, though. If this over curls, she'll roll. Now, can she roll behind the corner? Hangs on for a bite at the corner of the 12-foot. Moves both yellows. Didn't get anything out of play. Probably just a little bit underthrown. Certainly with the ice that they were putting down, it looked like they were expecting more of a controlled weight hit, and that was probably just hack weight, hack to bumper maybe. Red stone biting the edge of the 12-foot is open, so Dana Demons will make a play on it. Makes the hit, does roll to the boards. Actually, probably better to roll out than to stay there. Nancy Martin's going to come around the corner guard anyway. Had you stayed back there, it would have been something you could have jammed on if she leaves you a chance to get this rock out. This is a scoreboard call. You try to come around your corner guard. You won't be any better than third shot here if you bury, but you can deal with the two in the middle later. This is their best shot at getting a stone in place that the Campbell team won't be able to remove. This has got a ton of room by the guard, though. Come to rest half of the back of the 8-foot, but mostly exposed. Jolene Campbell not going to be tempted to make a play on it, though. She's going to go after the guard, straight peel the guard. Rachel Erickson with the attempt. They're on the brush right away. Makes the hit. Would have liked a straight peel. Now she does roll across and protects her own stone in the top of the 8-foot. It is still something for Nancy Martin to work with. She's going to try to come around it. If you're Jolene Campbell, the saving grace there is that by guarding that stone at the top of the 8-foot, it's real tough for Nancy Martin to bring the one in the corner of the 8 back into play. Both brushers down. This is really curling. She's got to get by that stone at the top of the 8-foot. Does. Grabs a corner of the button. It is shot rock, and it is dead buried behind the tight center guard. Boy, this surprised me. Jolene Campbell now going to peel the center. She is trying to peel it towards the red, but I thought she might just follow that stone down, try to take the end away that way. By peeling this guard, if you don't catch the second red, you brought 3 into play. And 3 was not in play if you leave the guard. First of the third stones here for the Martin team. You do have the chance to nose hit the yellow. It'd be yellow onto red onto yellow, and you'd sit 3. It's a little early to do that. You're probably going to give Jolene Campbell too many chances at doubles. So what they're looking at is to corner freeze the yellow at the top of the 8-foot. You might leave everything angled where you still have a chance at that. You can protect your shot stone in the 4-foot as well. Nothing out of the brushes here. This has gone to plan B now. They're trying to come by everything. That's your problem now, is you don't want to leave a double. It's heavy enough to be by their own stone. We'll touch the stone at the back of the 4-foot. Well, the easiest stone to make a play on is the one that was just delivered. The problem with that is you could start to set up a pocket at the back of the 4. It's a thin double off the shot stone. It's the best result. Tough shot. You actually might get all 3 of them. Thin on the first one, slightly across the top of the second one, and the shooter would go into the side of the 3rd red stone. I don't know if there's any way to, if you hit this first red stone, it's hard to tell from this angle whether or not there's a port between the 2 reds. You almost have to make one double or the other. Rachel Erickson with the attempt. Big weight. Dana on the brush. Wants to hit it fairly thin. Not going to. Gets it thick, and indeed there is room to get between the 2 of them. Third's last stone. Nancy's first thought was to try the draw. I think we're getting to the point where you need to play the double on the yellows. You play the double on the yellows, you roll an open side. I don't love that call. That could leave a triple. I think you're trying the double on the yellows here. Even if you nose hit that one at the top of the 8-foot, you're not in bad spot. I don't think you want to be rolling towards the center line. If you make the double, you're actually rolling to the open side. Real hard to attempt this double, or to attempt this draw without giving him another chance at the same double. Ackerman with another attempt at the draw. Same problem here. This one took forever to curl for them. Now, she did have a little bit less weight. But yeah, I think she's left the over-the-top double on the 2 reds. Now, the shooter would actually make contact with the yellow at the top of the 8-foot, so it's hard to say where those all end up. She could elect to ignore the stone at the top 8-foot, just try to get to the shot stone. I think she's going to play the double, though. Has to go over the top. She can't nose hit double. It'll take the yellow out of the back of the 4-foot. So looking to hit probably about half a rock across the top of the stone at the back 4-foot. Clip it. kill the two reds. Now her shooter, if she hits it that way, is going to make contact with her own yellow, the top of the 8-foot. Probably pushes it enough. She can't be sitting any more than 2 after this, I wouldn't think. Jolene Campbell with her first. Looking for the double. Needs to curl it just a hair. It's close. Little thin on the first one. Does kick her own out the front. And the shooter comes all the way back and through the house. So Nancy Martin sitting 1. Second is the stone belonging to Campbell at the back of the 4-foot. You could play the hit and roll off it. The problem with playing the hit and roll off it now is that you're going to leave a double. Nancy looking at the freeze in the pocket, which is great result if you can make it. Play the hit and roll, you're probably guaranteed at least a shot at 2. You're just going to leave a couple of choices for Jolene Campbell at doubles. If you can make the freeze into the pocket, it's tough to see if you make the freeze into the pocket, it's tough to see how Jolene Campbell doesn't have to give up a shot for 3. She can make it tough, but I think the shot for 3 is always going to be there. Now, this still has to be made. It's not a gimme to put a rock in a pocket like that. She overcurls this. There'll be room to make a double on the reds. Now, it still should leave a shot for 2. She undercurls it. Corner freezes her own red. Be a chance to make the double there, if not the triple. So this needs to be right in the pocket. Nancy Martin with her first here in 6, trailing by 3, but looking to set up the big end here. They're sweeping to curl. Taps the yellow a little bit. Not a bad result, though. Jolene looking at the triple on the reds. It's there. The problem is she's got to hit the stone that's 3rd or 4th shot to make it. If you don't move the other 2, it's a draw for 3. But it is there. You come off that stone at the top of the, or at the edge of the 8, into the stone at the back of the 4. The one that was just thrown gets kicked out sideways. And the red that she's going to come onto second will squirt back. They'll split that yellow at the back 8-foot, won't go anywhere. If you're a little thick on the contact on the first one, you might come across, touch the second, and maybe just spin up and sit in front of the third one too. There's a couple of ways this could work out for Jolene. Big weight here looking for the triple. She's got to come off the rock on the side. Makes the hit, comes across. Does squirt the one stone back, but she's left both reds in the rings. Take one more look at this. A little thick on the first one. Oh, we're replaying the wrong shot. There we go. She's going to hit that first stone just a little bit thick. When it comes across, it's more into the top end of that stone, drives it back, doesn't kill any of the other 2 red stones. Now The question is the angles that's left. Nancy could probably hit half a rock on the yellow, drive yellow onto red onto yellow, and it certainly looks like it would be there for two. If she's hitting it on this side, I think she's just, I'm not sure what she's doing with this broom. You can't hit that on the nose. You won't be shot rock. And I wonder if that's what they've just realized.
I think it's only for one, so maybe come back down now.
And I don't think there's anything good hitting it on the broom side with where she had the broom. So she's coming down to take one more look at it. If you could hit 3/4 on the other side, I guess the question is, do they think that yellow red and the button forefoot, are they close enough together to drag? I don't think they are. So you hit on the side they're looking at now, about 3/4, yellow onto red, onto yellow at the back. It probably doesn't clear the red at the back, but your shooter would stay if you hit 3/4. And the red at the back of the forefoot, I think, dead jams on the one at the back of the 8. It's probably there for 2. Going to have to throw some weight to make sure that yellow on the button goes all the way out when you're hitting it that thick. Looks like a lot of ice. Doesn't look like she's planning to throw this very hard. The question now will be then, how far does the yellow go? If you're trying to hit the yellow a little bit thinner because you're throwing quieter weight, you could lose the shooter. Big shot here for Nancy Martin. Final stone in the 6th, then trailing by 3. Tricky little shot. Looks like there might be a shot there for 2. On the brush early. She'll make the hit, but it's a little thick on the first one. Does hold her shooter for shot rock, but it'll just be the single point. Nancy Martin trailing now by a score of 5-3. Jolene Campbell will have last rock in the 7th. More to come from this quarterfinal. Curling Stadium, Martensville, right after this. Seventh end here. Jolene Campbell with a 2-point lead after Nancy Martin picked up her single in the 6th. Center guard attempt was thrown to start the end. Nancy Martin probably at the point in the end point in the game where she's going to need double centers. That first one not touching the center line, so it's not in the no tick zone. It always makes the position of this second one a little tougher since that no tick zone was brought in last year. You'd like to have the second guard biting the center line, but if you do that, they're not going to be dead lined up. This is a long ways out there and looks like it might be a little bit too much weight as well. If you come into the rings on this, they can hit it. Yeah, that's just not a good position for that stone at all. It's a chance for Dana Demmons to play a hit already. Jolene Campbell would love to see a blank end here. Keep last rock into the last end with a 2-point lead. For Nancy Martin, I wouldn't say she absolutely has to steal. If you could get a force of a single here, there's still a chance. We see it all the time. In fact, Nancy last end might have had a chance for 3. Threes do happen in the 5-rock free guard zone. There's a bit of a miscue. They make the hit on the red stone, but just push it further into the rings on the corner. That's that kind of stone that could at least give Nancy a chance to get out of here with a force. She could steal one here. She's down one coming home without. She'd need to steal 8 and then probably steal an extra end as well. If she gets the force, she'll need 3 coming home to get to an extra end, or she would still have to steal it. But with the 5 rock free guard zone and the no tick rule, if you could get to an extra end and need to steal for Nancy Martin, your odds are as close to 50% trying to steal in that end as they have ever been in the history of the game. That was the 5th stone of the end, so the peels can start now. Dana will look to peel the guard towards that stone that was just pushed over the edge of the 12-foot. They'd love to get a bonus out of this. Try to get back to a potential blank. Going to be very thin on the first one, though. Doesn't. Oh, did just remove it from play. Caterina Lott now being asked to come in and sit on the corner of shot rock. You could opt to play the long center again. The problem with that is you just give them too many chances to play that double. You can't afford a blank end here. She will sit right on the face of the shot stone. Jolene going to ask for just the straight peel on the center guard this time. Doesn't want to risk playing the double towards the corner this time. It might spin it back in towards the middle. So now Nancy will look to guard that situation in the center at least once, probably at least twice. You might even see her guard it 3 times, let Jolene Campbell peel 3 guards and then make a play in the middle with her last one. Jolene knows that if you do that twice, she might not make the 3rd peel, but hard to score 2 with where everything is sitting in the house right now. Skylar Ackerman playing 3rd for Nancy Martin this weekend in place of Shailene Kitts. Looking to put up the guard. This has got a lot of room yet. Boy, good late movement here at Martensville. I get it back to probably cover half of that stone in the 4-foot. Jolene's first thought is let's just blast everything out of the 4-foot area, make sure we've got room to score here. So part of the consideration is if it does overcurl, it could clip the guard. The problem is if you're in between the two, if you just get by the guard tight, we've seen this spot curl hard at the end. She could very easily nose hit the red, yellow jam and leave this in behind cover for shot rock. So really you have to, it can't be an either or. You're playing one or the other, and it looks like they're going after the 2 stones in the rings. Got on that center line early. By the front one. Does clip it thin enough to get rid of the red. So just the 1 red stone in the rings. In the 12-foot belonging to Nancy Martin, and the long guard just off the center line. Nancy looking for the tighter center guard now from Skylar. Still hoping for the chance to steal here. Jolene might go after the open stone. The danger then is she gives Nancy Martin the chance to come around the guards first. This was not the call. They definitely called for the center guard. This is coming in. She will get buried top of the 8 foot, so Nancy Martin sits 2. First thought was to make a play on the guard. I think it might have been Rachel calling down just the way they discussed it. It looked like she feels like she can get to that shot stone. Quiet wait here. If you get to the shot stone, make the hit, roll over to the edge of the 8 foot sit shot rock, it becomes a little bit more difficult for Nancy Martin to ignore it. If she can force you to a single here, Nancy would still have a chance in the 8th end, needing to score 3 to get to an extra. But if she ever gives up 2, this game's over. Oh, just rubs the guard and will go between the 2 reds in the house. That was the absolute worst thing that could happen for Jolene Campbell. Now Nancy Martin has a chance to guard up the shot stone. The blank will be out of the question, and the steal is alive. Jolene may have to make a decision with her last one. If it looks like we're going to get forced, do we try to get forced to 2? May well depend on the exact placement of this guard. Nancy Martin with her first. Got double guards on the shot rock. Jolene Campbell, as I speculated, saying that, look, if we're going to get forced, we may as well get forced to 2. She's going to try to come around it. I'm actually a little surprised she's not coming from the wide side. The danger in coming from this side is you could very easily slip behind the tee line if you're buried, and they did talk about it. If we're going to be behind the tee line, let's be well back. But if you happen to slide this just to the back button, Nancy Martin's going to try to follow it down, sit in front of it, and you may have to give her a steal of 1. You come around from the wide side. If you ever slip behind the tee line, Nancy follows it down. You've still got the button to draw with your last one. Hard to imagine any place you can put this where Nancy Martin's not going to be able to make a play on it either. Even if you're in a good spot in the front of the 4 foot, by the time you get by that stone at the top 8, you're not going to be more than about half buried. Not going to get by the stone at the top of the 8. Chips off it. It does roll in far enough, I believe, that she's got shot rock. So Nancy Martin's going to want to make a play on it. If she could stay right there, you know, she's going to have to hit about 3/4. Don't think she can get all the way to the nose, but maybe. It does move hard at the end here. Going back to the first end, this is a spot where Nancy had 2 stones over curl, so there is big movement in this path. Get to the nose. Steal at 2 would not be out of the question here. A little pop on the release. That'll hold it out there for a while. Just waiting for it to start to curl. Trying to help it a little bit now. She's got room by the guard. Didn't quite get to the nose. However, it's in a pretty good spot. Like, hard for Jolene to play the draw. If she's going to play to score, she's going to have to play the double. And the double's probably a little thinner than you'd like. Half a rock might come to the top end of that red stone, and if you throw any kind of weight, then it spins out the top. Really, the double is probably close to about a quarter rock. Third might get it. This might be one where you have to play it safe and make sure we don't roll out. So you throw the quiet weight. If you hit it too thick, you're just going to give up one. Looking for some curl at the end. Catches it. Moves it, I think, just far enough. Jolene Campbell will pick up the single point here in the 7th end. She does restore the 3-point lead. Nancy Martin will have last rock in the 8th. She's going to need 3 to get to the extra end. We'll see if she can do it right after this. 8th end quarterfinal, Curling Stadium, Martensville International. My name is Shawn Joyce. Happy to be with you this morning. We've had a outstanding game so far. Nancy Martin's struggling to stay in it, but had a chance 2 ends ago to perhaps set up a 3, ended up escaping with a single. Going to need to get that 3 here to get us to an extra end. First stone into the rings. Deanna Doig looking for the corner guard. Have to think they're going to try to throw double corners this time. So they've got the first one tight to the rings. That probably would indicate they're going to throw double corners on the same side. Jolene Campbell knows they're likely going to throw double corners. They may actually bring the second one into the top of the rings here with Dana. You may not see them throw a guard at all, but they could decide to throw one on the third stone. Their third stone at the end. Again, would like to see some separation on these. This is going to come right down, almost frozen. A little offline, but probably closer together than they would have liked. Nancy was looking at the 2 yellows in the rings, but I don't think it was a case of wanting to play it yet. It's they're going to play the second corner guard, and it looks like they're going to play it to the open side now. Trying to bring this in a little tighter. You don't want to leave angle for the double peel later on. It's still just the 4th stone of the end. They can't play it yet. This is the 5th stone. The peels can start after this one. So looking to come right in again with a third one, and this time kind of trying to choke off the corner guard that was just thrown by the looks of it. So not necessarily looking to get dead in behind it, but to take away the path to draw in behind it. Dana Demmons with her third stone to the end, playing shorthanded this weekend. It's a lot of rocks to throw. They need this to curl. They were kind of hoping to cut off the path to get behind the corner guard as it is. Left the three yellows pretty close together. I think if you were to hit the one that was just thrown slightly off center, you could roll your shooter in behind the corner. Maybe keeping it in front of the yellow. Nancy looking at trying to just jiggle it with a nose hit too. She could stay in front of a pocket. She'd move one behind the tee line, leave the other two yellows top of the house somewhere. Doesn't really have to remove any of the yellow rocks just yet. Little thin on the first one. They were kind of hoping to jiggle the three yellows. Did get their shooter towards the corner guard, but only a piece underneath. Rachel Erickson in the hack can see most of that redstone. It is just third shot for now, but going to make a play on it. On the brush all the way down. If they, I was going to say if they don't get by, they got to make sure that they hit that guard thick, but plenty of room by the guard. Just picks that stone out of the back of the 8-foot. Nancy Martin now will look to come around the corner guard. She can deal with the two in the middle later. Afford to be deep here, it just has to be buried. As long as it's buried, Jolene Campbell will have to make a play on the guard. Looked at the double peel. She has to be a little careful. You don't ever want to risk hitting the first one too thick because there is that yellow stone just hanging on the back of the 12-foot. Straight peel here is fine. Comes across, does miss the second guard. So now if you're Nancy Martin, you try to come around the wide corner. You know that Jolene's going to hit the open one at the back. You can nose hit the one at the top of the 8-foot with your next one and stay frozen. The straw has to be made first, and then it'll depend on what Jolene does with the stone at the back of the 8-foot. You'd think she'd likely probably play to roll out off of it, but she might be better off to hit and stay and sit 3. This has got a lot of room by the guard, though. Got to bury. Even if you have to take it back, this has to bury. I think it got there. Well, it's half buried. Jolene is looking at the nose hit. Switching to the offside sweep to try to get some curl. They'd like to stick around, but they're going to hit a little thin. Comes across, does kick the yellow out the back of the 12 foot as well. Nancy Martin looking at making a play on those two yellows in the middle. She's got the one partially round cover at the back corner. If you keep this rock frozen, even if you kill the back one, and I'm not sure if they're looking to kill it or just move it. Jolene can see enough of the stone at the back to make a play on it directly. But if you can keep this frozen close to the nose, you come around the corner again, you should still have a shot for your three. The tough part here is because the yellows are staggered a little bit, when you try to move it, if you end up staggered, she's going to be able to blast them all out. They're also talking about coming around the corner guard. If you think you can make the double on the yellows and stay, you could just come around the corner guard for now. It's tough to make the double and stay with your last one. So it looks like they're making the play on the middle too, and it looks like with that broom definitely looking to throw enough weight to kill the back one. This needs to curl. They're trying to help it over. Just did not get the line they were looking for. Makes the hit, but her shooter is going to roll well over into the 12 foot. Jolene Campbell will look to just hit and roll in just enough to be second shot. Just skip stones left to come here in this eighth end. Jolene Campbell with a 3-point lead, trying to move her team through to the semifinal. Scheduled in about 45 minutes time, where they would play Kayla Skrillex. Nancy Martin waiting behind the sheet, hoping she's got a chance to do something about that here yet in this eighth end. Little wobble for Jolene on the delivery, and the brush down right away. There is a stone just outside the ring. She's got to be a little careful of the jam. Actually gets it across the face of that one. She will lose the shooter. Nancy really only choice at this point in time, I think, is to come around the corner guard, kind of Christmas tree it. Best you can hope for here is to force Jolene to throw some kind of a draw and that there's a double left available. She can see half of that stone in the back now. If you make a play on the one in the middle, she's going to have an open hit somewhere. She's going to look to come around the stone at the top of the 8 foot. This is a tough shot, and she's got to be deep too. If she's just back 4 foot, it's a pretty short run back. Both brushers down. She's got a lot of room. This has to get deep, and it's not going to be there. Bit of a plan B when they realized it was that long. They swept for curl, try to get a piece in front of that yellow stone. Does that, but anything on the broom side for Jolene doesn't matter. Just needs to get this red out of the rings. There is that yellow just outside the rings at the back, but it's far enough out that if you dead jammed onto it, it wouldn't be in the rings. You'd have to get a little bit unlucky to jam it and spin it back in. It's probably possible. You actually could probably nose hit the red. You might actually red onto yellow onto the red at the back of the 12. You might kill it both, and then it should go over the top of that one. That's just out of the rings. Half a rock passes it by everything, and you're good. The only danger, I think, is if you're really thin on this and it jams that one at the back and then spins in. You know she won't be light. Jolene Campbell with her final stone here, a chance to run Nancy Martin out of rocks and move her team through to the semifinal, pardon me. Nothing out of the brushers yet. Starting to curl now. She is thin. Did catch that stone at the back, but dead jams it, stays out of the rings. So that will run Nancy Martin out of rocks. Jolene Campbell moves through to the semifinal after the big win here at the quarterfinal matchup this morning. It'll be Jolene Campbell, Cailey Skrlik in one semifinal this afternoon, Corin Brown against Amber Holland in the other. We will have all of the action for you on Curling Stadium Martensville from the Curling Stadium Martensville International. My name's Shawn Joyce, happy to have joined you here for this quarterfinal and look forward to seeing you back for the semis scheduled in about 40 minutes time.